of justice. National power ìdíje àṣà wa. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni àṣà àti ìṣe wa ò ní parun láíláí. Ìdí nìyí tí wá NFF Board of Trustees ṣe ń ṣonígbọ̀wọ́. Eré ìdíje àṣà àti ìṣe Yorùbá nípínlẹ̀ mẹ́jọ. Ìpínlẹ̀ Kogi, Kwara, Èkó, Ọ̀ṣun, Oǹdó, Èkìtì, Ọ̀yọ́ àti ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn. Láwọn ìpínlẹ̀ tí ìdíje bí ayò ọlọ́pọ́n, ìjàkadì, ijó ìbílẹ̀, ìdíje ẹwà àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ yóò ti máa wáyé látọjọ́ Monday, November 6, 2023 títí di November 13, 2023. Ní final audition máa wáyé láwọn ìpínlẹ̀ wọ̀nyí láti yan àwọn tó perégedé láti ṣojú ìpínlẹ̀ kọ̀ọ̀kan nínú ìdíje àṣekágbá tí á wáyé ní Muajas Hotel Nìbàdàn November 21 arrival day. Ìdíje á wáyé ní November 22 títí di November 24 ní Muajas Hotel nílùú Ìbàdàn. Ẹni sọ lẹ́nu sàpò ìyàkọ́. Odò tó bá gbàgbé orísun ṣetán láti parun ní ẹ̀já àjọ gbárùkù tìdíje àṣà àti ìṣe ilẹ̀ Yorùbá tẹlẹ́kùnjẹkùn yìí. Fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé tàbí ẹ fẹ́ ṣonígbọ̀wọ́ tàbí olùrànlọ́wọ́ ẹ lè kàn sí Mr. Wasiu Àyìnà lórí +134 75.
Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí pé a very good afternoon and welcome to the live transmission. Koiki Media bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Èní ni ọjọ́ kọkànlá àbí oṣù kọkànlá, the 12th and 11th day of the month of November. As we prepare for the Sunday broadcast, where we are just about less than an hour or two, depending on how soon we can get the message out. Message Yoruba Nation campaign continue. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn èèyàn wa káàkiri níbi tí oríṣiríṣi meeting ń lọ nípa ìrìn àjò Yoruba Nation. Mo kí ní Àlèmọ́ṣọ́ local government pé ẹ kú iṣẹ́ takuntakun. Mo kí ní Agége, mo kí ní Ọ̀ṣun, mo kí ní gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá títí dé ìlú Ìbàdàn lọ sí Oǹdó, mo kí ní Èkìtì, mo kí ní Kwara, mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Orúkọ tèmi ni Ọláyọmí Kóìkì, and I say welcome once again as we prepare for the afternoon broadcast.
Ènìyàn tí wọ́n pè lórí ìṣà, Ìgbòho ìṣà, Sunday mi Àdìsá tó bá rógùn kì í sá. Ọmọ Adéyẹmọ ẹni tí ó bá mọ̀ Sunday Ìgbòho, Adéyẹmọ kò dáyọ̀ mọ́. Orí ní kí n máa já sọ́lá, ọ̀la ń bí wọn nínú. Ìbẹ̀rù òsì bọ́lọ́dọ̀dọ̀, ibi kòkó làbọ́ta, alẹ́ bá ọ̀tá. Bàbá Yọ̀mídé, Bàbá Ronaldo Sunday, Bàbá Dámilọ́lá Ìgbòho, Àkàndá ọkọ̀ Adérọ́pò tí ó fẹ́ràn ìyànjẹ. Ìgbòho Sunday, mo kí ẹ kú ayọ̀. Ìgbòho Sunday, ọjọ́ kí ẹ lò ní. Ọmọ Adéyẹmọ, Ìgbòho Sunday, wàá ṣe pizza ọkọ̀ Adérọ́pò. Òkìdákọ̀lá láyé lábẹ́ ẹkùn tagiri gbéra níjà. Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ ọmọ alágbàdo òde. Ọmọ àtàpẹ́tẹ́ wọnú omi. Ọmọ gègèlè wodò sọ̀yà. Ìsọ̀yà òde mi láàrin dí. Omi kò sí ní kán sí mi lẹ́nu. Ọmọ òkúta mẹ́ta òde Ìgbòho. Ọ̀kan ṣe mí dábọ̀dábọ̀. Ọ̀kan ṣe mí máa rọra. Ọkọ tó kù nígbà tó mọ̀ Ìgbòho kí ló wá Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ sí. Gbàgede Ìgbòho sùn hàn láìsí bẹ̀rẹ̀. Wọ́n ní kò ní bẹ̀rẹ̀ máa kó bẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ bẹ́ẹ̀ sì bá bímọ méjì nígbòho mọ̀rẹ́. Àbíkan bọ́ kó sí, amúkan yòókù bọ́ sọ̀yà. A ó mú ìyá rẹ̀ tí ó lọ́rọ̀ gbọ́. A fi ìṣẹ́rú wálé. Kó lè máa jẹ́ òkútu pa nígbòho mọ̀rẹ́. Májàsálá ọmọ wàràmọ̀jẹ́ ọmọ onílé ọlá. Wàràmọ̀jẹ́ ọmọ onílé ọlá. Wàràmọ̀jẹ́ ló máa wọ àjèjì wòyí. Wọ́n ṣe ségesège. Wọ́n láwọn onígbọ̀mí kó símú. Àwọn onígbòho sọ̀yàwó ẹsẹ̀. Ojú po fírí. Gbogbo wọn bomi kó símú. Wọ́n sì gbòho sọ̀yàwó ẹsẹ̀. Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́, ọmọ abẹ́rẹ́ mẹ́ta Ìgbòho, ọkọ̀ ṣẹ́, ọkọ̀ tẹ̀, ọkọ̀ tó kù ní gbogbo aráyé fi ránṣọ ẹ̀rí. Ìyànjẹ ní Ìgbòho fẹ́, Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ ọkọ̀ kákó ní mọ́ra, adáradẹnujà mẹ́ka wọ́n dà mọ́ Ìgbòho. Àfẹ̀yìn kí abútọ́jọ́ òbí rẹ̀ ní tẹ́ntẹ́ ní Ìgbòho. Ọ̀kọ́bà rẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ tí màmá rẹ̀ ẹwà sílé ayé. Ọmọ Adéyẹmọ, ọlá bàbá ló mọ́mọ́ yan. Ẹ̀mí àbàtà ní mọ́yòóyò. wọ́n fi rántí bàbá rẹ̀ àtàtà ọmọ Adéyẹmọ. Ọlá àkàràhùn ní gbíjẹ mọ́jásọ́lá. Bá mi kí wọ́n ní mo dá kẹ́kẹ́ ilé. Ẹnìkan ò lè mọ̀ tán. Kó jálàjù lé bàbá ta ló fẹ́ mọ̀ lẹ́nu jẹni lọ. October 10 la fi rántí ọjọ́ bí ẹni yẹn. Ọjọ́ tó ń lọ kò yẹ nìkan. Ìtumọ̀ rẹ̀ kó ṣe é dìbò ẹ̀mí ní sáà fún gbogbo àgbàjọ pẹ́ láyé. Ìgbòho Sunday, mo kí ẹ kú ayọ̀. Ọmọdé ẹ mọ Ìgbòho Sunday, ọjọ́ bí ẹ lè màmá ní ọba mi kí. Ìgbòho Sunday.
Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí, and I welcome us to the Sunday broadcast. We are just about a few more minutes and we go into the conversation. After fífi ní ká tó máa fi ṣe ìrántí bí àwa náà ṣe ń ṣe ìrántí ní UK tí gbogbo wa tí aláǹfààní tí a ti wo program tí a ṣe ní àárọ̀ yìí. Going forward, let's allow this freedom to happen in our lifetime. Yoruba sovereignty, òun náà ni à ń kéde gbogbo ẹ̀ fún àwọn èèyàn wa nílé àtàwọn tó wà níta. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí, mo ní ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. We are running on the WD76 Media, which is the Koiki Media backup channel. We are also live on the Koiki Media. That means that two different headlines, the same message, and we'd like to welcome you. Moki Amode Moki Agbalagba Lenkonsi. We must remember all our fallen heroes in Yoruba land. Nigeria have nothing to offer us Yoruba people. In Nigeria, ní kankan tó fẹ́ offer wa, I don't think so. Tẹ́yìn bá dẹ̀ rò pé ó ní kankan tó lè offer wa, ẹ ṣe bá wa fi sínú comment section. Mo ń bọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí.
Koiki Media, we're bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Koiki Media, Koiki Media, Koiki Media, we bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Koiki Media, Koiki Media, Koiki Media, we bringing the world closer to your doorstep. I was a lara baida, I was la satiede, ìgbéde lárugẹ nílẹ̀ Oòduà, àwa gangan ni bàbá. Koiki Media, Koiki Media, Koiki Media, we bringing the world closer to your doorstep. They never sabi wetin we carry for her, but they move closer before they go sabi. I said they never know wetin we carry for body, but they move closer before they go sabi. Ọ̀kìn lọ lọ́jà ẹyẹ ìhun ló ló lọ́jọ́. Ẹyẹ tó dorí kodò bí àdó ọ̀pẹ̀jẹ̀ lẹ́nu. Ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ilẹ̀ bàbá wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ìlú bàbá wa, ká jùmọ̀ sowọ́pọ̀ ká lè tó dúdú àga. Wọ́n dúdú wa kò bá lè gbé wa. Ọmọ Odùduwà lè kiri. Ẹ dìde fún ẹ̀tọ́ adúláwọ̀, ká lè jọ jùmọ̀ gbé ilẹ̀ ìlérí. Àwa lè gba ògo gbàdé ká lè gbàdé adé adúláwọ̀ àwa ní ìmọ̀lẹ̀ tí yóò tàn káàkiri. ìyàmọ́ Odùduwà ni wá. Koiki Media àwa là ń gbétò lárugẹ. ètò tó gbójú owó Tiwa Money. kásá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà wa kájé bùgbà yín jẹ. ètò tó gbójú owó Tiwa Money. à ń gbétò lárugẹ à ń dásà lárugẹ. ètò tó gbójú owó Tiwa Money. news and sports ẹ máa rí gbọ́. ètò tó gbójú owó Tiwa Money. ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú ẹlẹ́rẹ̀ ni ló ní kí n máa ké tata. Koiki Media ọ̀rọ̀ lágbájúmọ̀ mi má bá ṣẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ. ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn ọmọ Yorùbá tata o. à ń gbádùn rẹ ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú ẹlẹ́rẹ̀ mi ṣẹ́yìn lọ́ máa fi dìbò tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ o. ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa ń dé máa dé ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa wọ̀ igbó máa wọ̀ àjòjì ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọ̀ àjòjì tó bá wọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ á tẹ̀lé ní bọ́ra. ẹ̀yin lọ́ máa náwó kóyìnbó tó dé ìgbà tó yìnbó dé o owó náà dẹ́ tún pọ̀ sí o Koiki Media ṣàwa ní bàbá. Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá. Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá. Àdáńtọ́ àtúnpèrè gidi. Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá. àwa là ń gbétò lárugẹ jẹ́ ká jọ gbọ́ o. Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá. àtúnjà fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ wa fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá. ọmọ Oòduà ni wá o tọkàntọkàn. Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá. ikú tó ṣe bí lébi òsì àdìmú bàbá yọ. Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá. we bring you up closer to your doorstep. Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá. afẹ́fẹ́ tó ń fẹ́ o tó ń kan jòkó lára ni. Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá. àpèrè dédé Olódùmarè ló fún wa ṣe. Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá. gbogbo ayé ẹ gbọ́ àwa ní bàbá o. Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá. ẹ máa bọ̀ wá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà yín wá. Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá. Odùduwà lágbé dání òtítọ́ lágbé dání. Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá. a kì í sọ̀dálẹ̀ a kì í sọ̀dí kẹta. Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá. àdúrà tán àtúnpèrè kété. Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá. Koiki Media we bring you up closer to your doorstep. àwọn ní bàbá. Koiki Media is around to give us latest. Is around to give us latest. Ladies and gentlemen, ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo. Ladies and gentlemen, ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo. Koiki Media is around to give us latest.
Koiki Media.
Okay, gbogbo wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí, I say welcome to the Sunday broadcast. It might just be 1 hour, but it is worth noting that this will be the third program for the day. Moki gbogbo wa pé happy Sunday. What God cannot do does not exist. Shout out to you, Easy Dollar. Shout out to Professor Adebanji Akitoye. Shout out to each and every one of us that have joined the broadcast. And let's go into it again. Going forward, let's allow this freedom to happen in our lifetime. I was privileged to be somewhere this morning where they were having the Remembrance Day. And being part of that event, mo wá ní ìjà wa máa ń ṣèrántí àwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ àwọn èèyàn wa tó ti kú in the process of asking for freedom. A mọ̀ pé freedom tá a gbà ní Nàìjíríà, it is not a full freedom. It is still an half freedom. So, we can say that it is not full yet. ǹjẹ́ a ti gba freedom ní Nàìjíríà? And tá bá gba freedom, how has this freedom been for you and me? Tá bá ní freedom, ǹjẹ́ a lè sọ pé a ti gba freedom for the benefit of àwọn tí wọ́n gbọ́ wa ní wákàtí? Ǹjẹ́ a ti ní freedom? Are we free people in Nigeria today? Or we are free, but not a full freedom? What do you think? Kí lẹ̀yin rò? Ẹ bá fi sínú comment section. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ti darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Without mentioning all the names, I say good morning, good afternoon. Aago mẹ́ta òun ló lù lọ́dọ̀ tiwa níbí. Sometimes we might say 1500 hours. It's just a 24 hours clock. Aago mẹ́rin ló lù ní Nigeria or ní southwest part, depending on where you're listening from. The time will then differ around the world. The world is a big place, like I always say. We have approximately about 195 countries. Tí Yoruba náà bá di country, I don't think that will be the end of people asking for right to self-determination. There are still numbers of many countries around the world that wants to be free. They're asking for freedom as well. I think one of my badge is missing, the Yoruba one. I'm sure we'll jab on it because I already put it on my chest. Let's get it out again. Maybe I was just assuming. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Many people today, many indigenous people around the world are still asking for right to have their own country. Away from the one that they have presently. Mo padà bọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí.
Àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ayé wa òye. Tẹ́tẹ̀ pàmò nírò yẹ kó mọ̀ pẹ́ dá. Torẹ́ni tó bá kọ̀ tí ò dúpẹ́ orí ẹgbẹ̀fà. Irú wọn ti pẹ́ gidi náà orí ẹgbẹ̀je níjọ́. Ìdí àti abárè tí àwọn Yorùbá UK Central Office parapọ̀ sàṣẹ̀rò nínú ìmọ̀ ìjìnlẹ̀ wọn. Tí wọ́n sì ya ọjọ́ kan àrà ọ̀tọ̀ sílẹ̀ fún ìdúpẹ́. Lórí ibi àti bẹ̀rẹ̀, ibi abadé àti ibi tá ń lọ láìpẹ́. Àkọ́kọ́ rú ẹ̀ tí àwọn èèkàn lókọlókọ ọmọ Yorùbá lágbàáyé yóò mọ parapọ̀ fún ǹdọ̀ kan sọ wípé Olúwa ó ṣe é. Tá a sì ti mọ láǹfààní láti mọ pàdé àwọn olólùfẹ́ wa gbogbo. Láwọn tí wọ́n jó nígbọ̀wọ́ fún ètò ìdúpẹ́ yìí. Bẹ̀rẹ̀ látòrí Yorùbá UK Central Office fúnra lára wọn gan. Tí wọ́n jó ní nǹkan là ń jọ ṣe. Koiki Media tí wọ́n jágbẹnusọ fún Dr. Sunday Igboho Òòṣà. Gbẹ̀dú magazine ti ka lára rẹ̀. Dr. Sabi Talk Show. Sanfatis FM. Gbogbo àpapọ̀ Yorùbá World Congress àti Yorùbá World Media lágbàáyé. Ọjọ́ ọpẹ́ lọ́jọ́ àbámẹ́ta lẹ́yìn tó jọjọ́ kejì oṣù kejìlá ọdún tí a wà yìí. Ní Abadasha Action College, Pips Road Side, Pips Road, London, SE 14 5SF, UK 135 Pips Road, London, SE 14 5SF ni ó ti máa wáyé. Bẹ̀rẹ̀ látago mẹ́ta ọ̀sán títí di agogo mẹ́wàá àṣálẹ́ UK time. Ọ̀fẹ́ àti ìrọ̀rùn ní ètò jíjẹ mímu ọjọ́ náà mọ bọ́ sí fún wa. Tá ò sì ní gba kọ́bọ̀ lọ́wọ́ ẹnikẹ́ni fún owó ìwọlé. Tó jásí wípé gbogbo ẹni tó bá fẹ́ wá sí bí ètò ìgbà yìí lọ́jọ́ náà ó gbúdọ̀ gba tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì wọlé rẹ̀ lórí Eventbrite. Lọ́kàn tẹ́ bá ti tẹ First Yoruba Community in UK Meet and Greet Thanksgiving. Lẹ́mọ̀ láǹfààní àti forúkọ yín àti àwọn tó bá fẹ́ tẹ̀lé yín wá síbi ayẹyẹ yìí kalẹ̀ lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́. Ẹ má gbàgbé wípé ètò tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì wa yìí dá lórí first come first serve. Fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé síwájú sí i tàbí kẹ́yìn gan bá nírànwọ́ tẹ́ fẹ́ ṣe fún wa kí ètò yìí lè wáyé kódò kí gbọ́ngbọ́n kan sí i. Bóyá yìí náà sì fẹ́ sọ kéèsì bísínẹ́sì tètò náà bá ń lọ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. Ẹ lè fàtẹ̀jíṣẹ́ sọ wá sí wa látòrí ímeèlì wa ecco@yukgb.org àbí kẹ́ pè wá lórí 073-671-52852. Bákan náà ní ẹ lè pè 073-940-56266 tàbí kẹ́ pè 077-609-86460. Ọjọ́ ìdúpẹ́ ọjọ́ ayọ̀ fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá lágbàáyé. Yorùbá World Media ló kéde lórúkọ gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá lágbàáyé. Àwọn alájẹ kọjá sí oyòyòyò ojújú àgbẹ̀ wa o.
Remembrance Day. Ǹjẹ́ Nàìjíríà náà ṣèrántí? I'm sure we've seen some Remembrance Day. Àfi tá bá fi parọ́ fúnra wa. The only problem is the last time I saw one, the birds or the pigeon or whatever were not coming out and flying when Buhari was there. I'm sure some of you remember that images and the videos. Unfortunately, we can't play that because we're not running the software. What is Remembrance Day? I'm asking question again this morning. Are you, or do you think that we finally got our freedom after the independence in 1960? As you can see there, that is American flag. That is the White House, Capitol Hill, and I can see some soldiers. You know, some of you might not see it, so let me move it like that so you can see, you know, somebody brought this all the way from US, you know, to give it to me a few months back. A very big uncle of mine. So teba wo ibiba, erikba soldiers, they're holding the flag of the United States of America, Washington, D.C. A very beautiful place. I can't wait to visit. So that my little key easy. My little key in America. My name is Olami Koiki, and this is Koiki Media Live. I'm asking again the question. Ǹjẹ́ a finally got freedom wa in 1960? Because what we were told is that we got independent in 1960. After the 1960, can we now officially say that every Nigerian is free, especially from the colonial rule as at the time? The British Empire, that they are also celebrating freedom today. I've seen the King Charles in front of me right now. I can see King Charles. 56 minutes ago, BBC. Remembrance Day, King Charles laid wrought line Whitehall is the king of United Kingdom. Our monarchy system in Nigeria, so our Bawa, they are no longer relevant in the day and operation of governance in Nigeria. Happy Sunday. What God cannot do does not exist. Motunberi lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí, ǹjẹ́ after tí a gba independence, can we officially say that we are free? We should be excited. Free country. Run our own government. Tebawa lórí TikTok. Behind me I say violence, vote buying, appetite, governorship election. We are free. Free people. We eventually got our freedom, and we should be excited. The Nigerian independence of 1960. 63 years down the line, we are still asking the same question. Injati free, do we officially say that we now have our freedom, but certain set of people within the same context of the country have held that freedom away from us? And if they have taken the freedom away from us, how do we take back the freedom? Because the echo I was hearing today while I was out there looking at the younger ones, they were excited because people fought for this country to remain Great Britain. There was a lot of blood that spilled. Ǹjẹ́ àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ǹjẹ́ ṣì ń ṣèrántí àwọn èèyàn wa tó jẹ́ àwọn jagunjagun ọjọ́ náà lọ́hùn tó kú àbí Nàìjíríà ti pọ́n mọ́lẹ̀? Because the reason why we are not able to identify the real fallen heroes nílẹ̀ Yorùbá is because we are under what is called Nigeria. So Nigeria automatically also say, we are doing Remembrance Day, but we are not remembering Yoruba people that died. We are remembering Nigerians. And the question is, who is a true Nigerian? Tani, the real true Nigerian. Are the Nigerians free today? Do you have freedom? Are you free? Maybe you want to start asking the question. Maybe you want to start asking yourself questions. Are you free? In your freedom? Can you automatically, as a Nigerian citizen, say to yourself that I am free? I am a free person. Because during the slave trade, we were not free. Happy Sunday. During that slave trade, we saw the atrocity that took place by the British Empire using us as the slaves. But people fought, the founding fathers, Azikiwe, Tafawa Balewa, Obafemi Awolowo, and the rest of them. They fought for something to get us out of that contraction between us and the British Empire. Today, across this country, people are excited. If you are not, I don't know. I am excited because I am free, at least to some extent, in this country. What I have been doing in this country, I will not have the privilege to do it in the same country under the Commonwealth called Federal Republic of Nigeria. So for me to be living here, I am excited that I have a bit of my freedom. Do you have the same kind of freedom in Nigeria after giving that independence? Ǹjẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá ti free? Ǹjẹ́ ti gba òmìnira lọ́wọ́ àwọn tí à ń pè ní olóṣèlú? Because the founding fathers fought to get us out of that slave between the colonial and us. And that led to the fake independence, the fake election. So when Nigerians are saying that there is violence in the election, there is manipulation, there is vote buying, it is not today. It is the same thing that occurred in 1959. The only difference now is the British say, we are no longer in charge of Nigeria. We have given Nigeria back to you. You all go and deal with it, regardless of how you want to deal with it. And today, King Charles, God bless the king. You can say anything about King Itiwani, and I will continue to respect him, regardless of our take on the self-determination, because the king has given me freedom here. Ǹjẹ́ Ọọ̀ni of Ife has given you the opportunity to have freedom in Yoruba land. Ǹjẹ́ Awùjalẹ̀ jẹ́ kẹ́ ní freedom. Ǹjẹ́ Aláké of Egbaland, ǹjẹ́ wọ́n jẹ́ kẹ́ ní freedom. Àkárìgbò, ǹjẹ́ jẹ́ kẹ́ ní freedom. Can we point to say that gbogbo balẹ̀ Yorùbá wọ́n jẹ́ ká ní freedom? Because the freedom that I am enjoying today is part of what the king is saying to the government, that you must allow Olayomi Koiki of Koiki Media to express his freedom, as long as that freedom do not have any hiccup or any hindrance against somebody else. Like freedom of religion. You keep that religion to yourself. It does not matter your views on that. Are you also enjoying that same freedom after 63 years? Ǹjẹ́ àwọn ọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, ǹjẹ́ àwọn náà operate like Ọba United Kingdom, or àwọn tí wà lábẹ́ politicians? Mo kí gbogbo wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Kí ló ń pè ní Remembrance Day? How do we celebrate it? Can we continue to celebrate Remembrance Day? I saw the governor of Lagos State. Welcome to London, Sanwo-Olu. I'm sure some of you must have seen it. I didn't even realize that they are doing something like that, because nígbà tó ti wà lábẹ́ Nigeria, they came to showcase Yoruba culture, a beautiful culture. I was happy to see it, but the only difference is we can have Lagos even as a country of its own to showcase Yoruba without mentioning Nigeria. Go to the Facebook page of Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Lagos State Governor, in London, showcasing Eyo and the rest of our Ashoke. This is the danger that some of you might not understand. That showcasing is still under Nigeria. It is not under Yoruba. But we can be an independent country and we can be free totally from the corruption of Nigeria. I don't have problem with Sanwo-Olu. Kódà mo rí ọ̀rẹ́ mi ńbẹ̀, Jamin, ìyẹn kàn gbádùn tiẹ̀. Àjọ máa ń sáré káàkiri ní London ni, taking pictures. He's very good in what he does. Jamin. Òun náà wà níbẹ̀, ó dé fìlà tó ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀. Free aircraft from Nigeria. Òun dẹ̀ good dáadáa. And when I was reading the comments, somebody says, is it worth it? I say, yeah, it's worth it. At least they came to showcase Yoruba culture. The beautiful culture that we are telling you that it can remain independent away from Nigeria. But the same politicians will not respect our king. Well, bí Sanwó-Olú dá kó disrespect ọba ìlú yìí. Nítorí pé ọba ìlú yìí gan òun ló ní àwọn politicians. You saw the state opening. And you can see the difference between a civilized society. If you have not watched the parade that took place somewhere in an area called the London Borough of Enfield, you might want to go and watch it. Not that they don't have a problem. They have issues as well. But those younger ones that came out today, they are so excited. They are so happy because they are free. The only thing is we don't want rapists, like I said in the morning. We don't want people to come and rape our people in this country. The only one that will give us the total freedom is to have an independent Yoruba sovereignty. Anything below that now, Nibiti or Nigeria Deleni, is a waste of time. So it is good. It is just showcasing our culture, but in a different taste called Nigeria. Because he's showcasing Yoruba culture as a Nigerian. But to be honest with you, if I take the same Nigerian passport to the British banks on Monday, they'll be asking me, which of the country is this? Because it is not a recognized country. So, but about Yoruba independent, sovereignty, we can then start showcasing our real people, who we are. And then the British, we will have trade, we will have MOU, we will have partnership, security, training, education, research, and then agbe ògo wa yọ. Ògo Nigeria ti kúrò nínú nǹkan tẹ́ máa fi pọ́nra yín lé. The country hasn't broken yet. It is still standing. But the glory that you are, the glory that's suffering in Nigeria is dead. If there's glory in there, why, as a Commonwealth citizen, I cannot say to you, buy a ticket and meet me in London tomorrow morning? It used to happen before. Just less than some 40 years ago, Nigerians were traveling to UK as a Commonwealth citizen, visa-free. Why is our politician not negotiating the same thing back and say, if you want us to be free and have the freedom, why can't we have free access to your borders? No, the British doesn't want anybody. They want a certain set of people. They want a certain set of people to come here and work, live here, and add value to the system. I appreciate this system, and I am grateful for being part of the system. Because what I'm enjoying here today with my own family, I will struggle to enjoy it in Nigeria. I am not joking. The benefit that I'm enjoying in this country today with my family, I will not be able to enjoy it in Nigeria. And you can name as many, even the basic one is the healthcare. That healthcare alone for me, look, I don't have money in my account. That means I don't have to worry should any of my children go into a bit of illness. All I just have to do is call the necessary authority and deal with it. If there's a fire in my house, I call the ambulance. The fire brigade. If I have any problem, I call the police. That is what I'm enjoying. Are you enjoying the same thing? Or you are waiting to say that Rome was not built in one day? We will get there with a country that is dead. Because Nigeria is dead. The lies that Nigeria hasn't died, you better start taking it out of your mind. Let me go straight to BBC. Remembrance Day, King Charles leads the road laying on Whitehall. For one day a year, ní ọjọ́ kan ní gbogbo ilẹ̀ UK, the hustle and bustle of London Whitehall completely shut down. Gawking, tourists chanting, protesters hooting taxi is swept away, and it is a place very different from the slice of the Britain descend. Kò ní sí ariwo kankan níbẹ̀. They don't need any protesters. It's a complete total lockdown. You know why? Because they are remembering people that fought for this country to remain standing as it is, that Olayomi Koiki of Koiki Media is enjoying today. Those that fought for the same freedom in Nigeria, some of them are not even being remembered anymore because it is a fake union. It was never a union. It was a forceful union of what we call the 1914 amalgamation. And that amalgamation must now be dismantled so that kí a lè rí ògo wa lò. Because ògo tí a fẹ́ lò, wọ́n ti gbà kúrò lọ́wọ́ wa. Wọ́n ti gbé pangolo lé gbogbo wa lọ́wọ́. And they expect us to be crying and shouting, Nigeria, arise, O compatriot, Nigeria's call obey to serve our father's land. I'm sure you all remember that bloody nonsense national anthem. When we have our own beautiful Yoruba anthem, we end up reciting a bloody, tasteless, a nasty society that kept us in what we call Nigeria. We must pull out now before it is too late so that we can really achieve our freedom. Oh, is it the freedom you're enjoying today now in Imo State? Is that an election? In Bayelsa State, is that an election where the police officer is stealing the ballot box? Is that a freedom? In Kogi State, many people have been killed before the election and on the day of the election. The videos are out there on the social media. Are you truly sure that you gained a freedom? Inject freedom? Or we are all living in denial? The question then is, how do we move forward? What do we need to do so that we can attain and achieve our goals and objectives, the noble path that Professor Banji Akintoye wants for the Yoruba people, the noble path and the noble goal? If not, should we remain in Nigeria, we will never attain any goal. Ẹ máa jẹra yín lẹ́sẹ̀ ni. On Sunday came the military veterans, lot of them in a blazer and beret, well-shining shoes, crispy street trouser, not like the one where they see your police where they smell. Smelly police. Smelly Nigerian police. Smelly Nigerian military. Smelly Navy. Smelly. Because we cannot value them because they are not part of us. I saw police officer today. I say, I throw salute for you, sir. I respect them from top to bottom. Shiny shoe, well-dressed, well-knit. Not the hungry monster that wants to look into your mobile phone as if that is what they should be doing. Many of you will cry if you do not let us go now. You will continue to come on the social media. Mr. Koiki, our road is not good. We are hungry. We are doing that. Today is where families make sure their loved ones were remembered. How do we remember the death of those that died as part of the people that fought for the British Empire? Abemo, do you know how many people they call Nigerians, the indigenous people that fought for this country to continue to exist? They were never paid. It was a free service because the British Empire was already colonizing us. So they were using us as much as they wanted to use us to fight World War I and World War II. Today, there's another World War III around the table or around the corner. Baba ńlá fought for the same British Empire. Nígbà ogun World War I. Ẹ máa gbọ́ táwọn family kan ṣì máa pàtàn yẹn fáwọn ọmọ wọn àwọn jẹ. That's if they're still saying that kind of story. Tó ń ṣàwọn tí wọ́n ní ẹ má bínú fọ́rọ̀ fàǹṣà tí mo bẹ. I'm sure some of you have seen the video I posted. Èmi ni mo bá sùn, èmi ni mo gbé sẹ́nu, èmi ni mo ṣe kinní kan. Fine girl. That is now they saw as a content. When people are developing software engineers, our own youth, àwọn obìnrin, wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀, àwọn gbé sẹ́nu, àwọn fà nísàlẹ̀, òun lòun padà bá sùn. I'm sure you saw the video on Twitter and on TikTok. That is the generation that we have now created. The generation that cannot think anymore. Their brain is already stuck. The Chinese created TikTok for business use only. Awati Sodi Oro Alufansha, because that is where the traffic is. So when we talk about the freedom, the bomb bastard, they're not looking for freedom. They're looking for how to reap the next person. The crowd aligns Whitehall on this Remembrance Sunday. Do not all dress up for the occasion, but this is Britain with Sunday best manner, polite and orderly. Oh, people are bad that Obanche program here. It is a time to remember the dead people that fought for this country. How many of us are remembering people that fought for the same country that I'm talking about today, for them to exist as what they call Great Britain? The Gurkhas fought for this country. They were never paid until they took them to the court and said that why wouldn't they be paid? Yoruba men alone did anything to fight for the Yoruba people that fought on behalf of the British Empire. We are not interested in that. And we can only have such when we have a Yoruba government that can start questioning the British government. Give us the names and list of Yoruba people that fought on behalf of the British government and the British monarch in the World War I, World War II, because they must be compensated, like the Gurkhas. Elomi, Towa Nigeria, you are meant to be in this country and be collecting benefit on behalf of your forefathers that fought for the British Empire. But they are there. They cannot think and they cannot focus. And that is why we are saying that today we will not give in. We will not give in we will not give in and cave in for that nonsense anymore. Ẹlòmíì nínú yín àwọn bàbá ńlá wọn wọ́n jà fún ìlú yìí tí ìlú yìí fi ń jẹ́ Great Britain. Ó dẹ̀ máa great ni, because they are playing their role as much as they can. The question I'm asking again is, kí ló ń pè ní Remembrance Day? How do we identify ourselves as part of this Remembrance Day? Do we just want to be left with our dead heroes? The crowd, once again, that lines on the Remembrance Sunday do not all dress for the occasion, but this is Britain with Sunday best manners, polite and orderly. This is a day of unity in divided times. The inch of this day is the 11th hour, that time on the 11th of November, 1918, 4 years after the British Empire amalgamated Nigeria. We got the amalgamation in 1914. They are now doing 11th on the 11th due to the fact that something took place in 1918. Many Nigerians will never understand the history behind why we are saying we must go back to who we are before 1914. If the British can remember 1918 and they are keeping to that record till today, why are you telling us not to go back to 1913 before the 1914 amalgamation? It's because some of you are born bastards. You cannot think anymore. Why don't we say to the British, why are you remembering 1918? That one is gone now. Let's leave that. We are now in 21st century. Let's forget about 1918. No, the British do not want to forget what happened in 1918. And you want me to forget what happened in 1914. You are a bomb bastard. Bomb bastard, near. Britain in 1918. We had 1914 before 1918. They are making sure that every 11th of the month in the year is Remember Day. And you want me to forget about what happened in 1914. You can see the hypocrisy of Yoruba people. Bomb bastards. And someone will say, I came here to UK. Hey, come out, go kill. Cover. We are here. We are showcasing Yoruba culture under Nigeria. Should we be showcasing Nigeria again under Nigeria? When we can have our own powerful sovereignty and then we can do proper showcasing. Gbogbo ìtàn ṣe tí Ọbásanjọ́ ṣe ní Festa 77 níbo ló fi díẹ̀ kalẹ̀ sílé ni. Abẹ́ ẹ̀gbọ́tàn Festa 77 when they say we were too rich àwọn tá a fi fowó ṣe mọ́. They brought in people from different Africa. Ẹ wá bá wa ṣe ayọ̀yọ̀ Nigeria is a bomb bastard though. We have so much money. Come and help us to spend it. And out of there, they took original from us. The Igbo people gave us a replica. Ọba mi replica la dé tó gbé sórí kọ́nà kó ṣàánú yín. Because wọ́n ti gba original kúrò lọ́wọ́ yín. That's why ẹ lè pàṣẹ kó ṣẹlẹ̀ mọ́. The 2 minutes silence that falls after the Big Bang, 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 sound see faces long with memory. Kí ló ń pè ní memory? In tó ṣẹlẹ̀ tẹ́mi ò sí níbẹ̀ tí wọ́n fi pa àwọn bàbá ńlá wa tó fi sọ pé 1914 amalgamation, you like it or not, òun làwa fẹ́ rectify nísìn. Àwọn bomb bastard kan sọ fún mi pé shut up, let's keep Nigeria. Britain is not forgetting what happened in 1918. Why do you want me to forget what happened in 1914? You're a bomb bastard. Ọmọ àlè ni ẹ́. Ọmọ àlè gidi ni ẹ́. Ṣé tó bá ń ṣọmọ àlè ni? Every one of us should be talking about what happened in 1914. We need explanation so that we can de-amalgamate this nonsense that took place in 1914. Rather, they are stealing ballot box. As I speak to you right now, go on Channels Television and BBC, the same, British bias corporation. Go and look at them and see all the nonsense they're doing. Is that an election? Is that how the British citizens and their police are stealing ballot box in an election? Have you ever seen the British police stealing ballot box and running away with it or burning it down with their thugs? Bomb bastards. The British Empire is not forgetting what happened in 1918. They are still remembering what happened in 1918. Is 1914 not before 1918? So if they can remember what is happening in 1918, you want me now to forget what happened in 1914? Don't you see that you're a bomb bastard? Because in time was in 1918, òun làwọn rántí nísìn. But until ó ṣẹlẹ̀ in 1914, Nigerians say, let us move on. We are better off in one. You're a bomb bastard for saying that. We are never one. Maybe we didn't know before, but now that we know, we must continue to raise the tempo. It's just 2 minutes. But that 2 minutes, the preparation has started again today. But they are preparing for the next year. Who is preparing for the Yoruba heroes that died every year? You think the Fulani cares about all our heroes that died? You think the Igbos care? You think the Hausa care? Àwa la lè ṣèrántí àwọn èèyàn wa tó kú. Àwa la lè ṣe, àwa la lè ní àyàn pé àwọn bàbá àwọn ìyá tó kú yẹn. How do we remember them? Go to all the graveyard in Nigeria. You will be crying. Kò ń ṣe inú graveyard náà lọ tí. I mean, you people anybody that die in Nigeria, you better make sure that if somebody died, make sure that they cover the burial ground as you are there, because the head will be sold in Oju Elegba, in Kano, in Maduguri, in Sokoto, in Ondo State. They are buying head for less than 5,000 naira. Ori. I saw that woman. She buy head and then she chop it to pieces. One hour founder, pastor ora, babalawo ora, bomb bastard country. Ṣé orí ni Zubiga ló fi lówó? The Facebook, ṣé orí èèyàn ló gbé kalẹ̀ ló fi dolówó? And people live in denial. Happy Sunday once again. Britain ò gbàgbé tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní 1918. Kí ló dé tẹ̀yìn wá ní káwa gbàgbé tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní 1914? Is 1914 not better than at least there's 4 years interval between 1914 and 1918? oh, because your pastor say we should love our country, pray for Nigeria. Kò ní dá fún pastor yẹn, bomb bastard ni pastor yẹn. Is a bomb bastard. Imam yẹn bomb bastard ni àti àwọn babaláwo tó bá sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Kọ́ sọ fún wa ibi tí spiritual realm ti sọ fún wa pé Nigeria was created in a spiritual realm. Tó bá ń ṣe pé inú demonic realm ló ti create in Nigeria. Ẹni kọ́ jáde kọ́ sọ fún wa pé Nigeria was created in the spiritual realm, bomb bastards. Ẹni kọ́ jáde kọ́ sọ fún wa bẹ́ẹ̀ gbogbo àwọn pastors àtàwọn imam àtàwọn babaláwo yẹn pé ṣé nínú spiritual realm Elédùmarè ni wọ́n ti dá Nàìjíríà àbí it was just created nígbà tí Lugard àti ìyàwó ẹ̀ tó ń bára wọn sùn lọ́kàn ronú pé àwọn wèrè málà tí táwọn mẹ́kọ̀ọ́ lára ẹ̀. They were losing money in the north. Maybe you don't know or they. British Empire was losing money in the north and the south was making money. They decided that they cannot fund the north anymore. How can they be sending money from Britain to support the north? They decided to merge us together. That is why we are one called amalgamation called Nigeria. So it has nothing to do with no creating Nigeria. You're a bomb bastard if you have to say that. Imbololon ti created. You will see, the importance of the prayers. But kò lè work nígbà tó yẹ pé in top foundation ó ti wà faulty. Ẹ̀rí àwọn white garment wọ́n máa ṣàdúrà lọ́mọ wò kan náà. Ẹ̀mí á máa dìde. Wàá rí àwọn àfáà tó máa jókòó lórí awọ tó máa fa tẹ̀sùbá tí ẹ̀mí ẹ̀ máa dìde. Wàá rí babaláwo tó máa gbé ọ̀pẹ̀lẹ̀ sálẹ̀ ẹ̀mí á dìde pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ náà ìlú lórí burúkú yẹn kò lọ síwájú kò lọ sẹ́yìn ojú kan ló wà. Mo sọ fún ìyàwó mi lánàá àjókòó níbí báyìí. Mo rí ọmọ mi tó ń fi kíní ìṣeré lánàá. Ọkàn mi wá lọ straight sí ibi tí you think people remember you all if you don't fight for your freedom. That was what my son was playing with last night. Into ìṣeré lele. I don't know how to play it, but I tried. It's very difficult. I'm sure some of you. Ṣé àmọ́ bó ṣe ń ṣe láàpọ̀ máa lọ báyìí. Ṣé lè máa lọ báyìí ni èyíyàn mọ̀ọ́sẹ̀ àwọn ọmọ ìbọn ìmọ̀. You know what I remember? How many people can remember something that happened recently? Mo fẹ́ mọ̀ bí àwọn èèyàn ní bí people play back to what is. People don't remember anything. You think people remember us if we don't come out of Nigeria? They don't care whether you are Yoruba. But if people go nonsense tí Olúwa ṣe ní London yẹn, after taba ti ṣe tán, they don't remember that we are Yoruba people. They forget about it. Maybe 1 or 2 days, they'll just realize, I think the governor came to London. How many people remember what took place where somebody died recently? And this thing was very, very important. It was part of what they were discussing. It was an event that happened. Mo fẹ́ òbí àwọn èèyàn ní knowledge. I'll remind you. Remember the Titanic? Àwọn olówó tó fowó ra wàhálà. Remember the Titanic? The one where they go inside, they won't go inside. You know that the sun was meant to be playing with this thing until they float back upstairs again. But they never did. I'm sure some of you remember. That sub whatever, the one we go inside, bugu, come back up again. It explode. Over 500,000 they paid to want to go inside the deep of the Titanic. You know why? Because Titanic is dead. But people still want to. As Nigeria is dead, people can still make money from a dead body. They buy body. So Nigeria is dead does not mean that people don't want to come there. So when you see people that I'm saying, I'm making it in Nigeria, hey, you can make it because it's dead. A guy put together and say, I can take you to Titanic, pay me $500,000. People pay. A family, a father and a son paid. The son held this. It was meant to be playing with it inside that submissive or whatever they call it. Eventually that thing exploded. So even though Titanic cannot be brought, was okay. The Titanic, do you know how long Titanic is dead? So it's the same thing. Nigeria is dead, but does not mean that it can function. Mama function, but it is dead. And out of there, people will tell lies. There will be all kinds of things. There's no culture there. There's no security there. There's no language. When you speak English. Let's go back again to the Remembrance Day. But today, we are shouting, we want Yoruba nation. We want our own sovereignty. Let's leave all this violent vote buying. Go to the headline. If you're on my TikTok, you will see behind me, violent vote buying. The 2-minute silence that falls after the Big Ben sound see faces long with memories and grief, none more so than the king, a single poppy blazing out from the blue-gray lapel to his great coat. The king refused to apologize for the Mau Mau violence of thousands of people that were killed in 1952, people that were looking for their freedom from the British Empire. They fought for 13 years. The king said, I don't feel apologize. Why should we apologize for what my generation have done in the past? He refused to apologize because he knew or he knows the consequence of if he apologized. You think they will apologize for putting us together in the 14 amalgamation? They're never going to apologize. They're never going to apologize. It's unfortunate that I can't show you the images, but it's a very beautiful one. Quiet, serene. A command is back into the thick, cold air. Stand at ease. Stand ease. And the troops settled a little. And then began the breathing out of the day. Parade of the veterans in beret and boa art, sometimes even in the wheelchair. How many people can drive wheelchair from Ojuelegba to another destination? Does your bosses have the access to wheelchair? Bomb bastard country. You never even support the person who get 2 legs. Now you go support the person who get wheelchair. I saw a woman today on a wheelchair. They have designed the ways for people like that. Because having to be in a wheelchair means nothing. Sometimes it's circumstances. Sometimes it's not even their fault. Maybe somebody that was drunk, drove an accident, and spinal cord is gone. We pray such an accident doesn't happen to us or our family, not even our enemies. There are even guide dogs. Dogs will get better past you. You way to look at me from Nigeria. You way to shout, shut up there. I don't shut up, but guide dogs is better than your papa. You know the one where they call guide dogs? They are the most expensive dogs that you can think of. A dog will go to tell you, say, hey, don't go that side, though. Make car not hit you. We had a former Home Secretary under the Labour Party, David Blunkett. In eyes, he no see like that. He just opened, but he don't see anything. He was part of this government as at the time, during Tony Blair. His name is called David Blunkett. And when you are the Home Secretary, is one of the biggest positions after the Prime Minister and the Chancellor. Because Home Secretary deals with everything security of the country. The person will not get eyes. You where you get eyes, weary. You where you get eyes. Do you have freedom in Nigeria? And they ask you, bomb bastard, you come here and be telling us nonsense. You where you get eyes, you get 2 eyes. I'm asking you, shall you get freedom? Ìwọ tó ranjú méjì kalẹ̀ báyìí ní Nàìjíríà, kàmá ìtí sẹ́ni tó tẹ̀ díjú báyìí. The person who no get eyes for Nigeria, as far as they're concerned, they are witchcraft. They are dead. Their march, not quite as steady as it once was, but their pride shining out like the medals across their chest. Let us be proud of Yoruba, who we are. Think Yoruba first. Think about us first. They go say, no. Let's think about Nigeria first. I see Nigeria that is just less than 108 years old. Let us think Yoruba first. Let us brain like Yoruba first so that we can have a better future and we can move forward. It can be done if everybody is ready. If we are all ready, we can do it simultaneously. But we were after Yoruba nation, and no, we want to go and do election in Kogi State, bomb bastard. And all we can see now is they're killing each other. I can see Dino crying his head out as if, it's perfect. because APC go rig am anyway. So why is Dino? He said Dino no know that before. Is that the kind of life you want? I'm asking again. Do you have freedom in Nigeria? Ǹjẹ́ free? And if you are not free, so when do you want us to be free? When Tinubu finishes government, Abi? That's when you want us to be free. So we should go and sleep. Koiki should close this broadcast, leave Tinubu and say, oh, Tinubu, Abajagaban. Just please complete your term. So by the time you finish 8 years, I will come back and I'll be shouting Yoruba Nation. Then there will be war. If we do that. Because the North will tell you, say, Orinyo Pirara. They will even say to me as well, you're a bomb bastard. Not be you, they say people will be bomb bastard. You too, you're a bomb bastard. Tinubu dey there. You know, no shout. You know, no say you want Yoruba Nation. You know, go sleep. Now, me, I can't come now. You won't disturb my government. I'm going to kill every one of them. And that will be bloody. Maybe some of you don't know that. They are Elomi. And that is why you are looking at Tinubu as a savior. What is actually a Remembrance Day? What is Remembrance Day? Let's go and look at what Wikipedia is telling us. Happy Sunday once again to every one of us. Remembrance Day. I'm sure some of you will never come to London. You go to see something they go to put, especially if they watch British news, they go put something like in a poppy, red one, just to remember the dead, the heroes, the fallen heroes. Remembrance Day, also known as Poppy Day, owing to the tradition of wearing a remembrance poppy. Me, I don't get one. I don't feel like. This one on my own remembrance, Oloye. This one on my own remembrance, as far as I'm concerned. I want to marry ni Oloye de marry, Ulana bitemi. Until tabade Yoruba country, tabawa sọ fún wa pé bàbá kan náà má dẹ̀ wá Koiki. Àwọn bàbá yẹn náà jajajajaja èmi ra àwọn bàbá yẹn because Nigerian government ò jẹ́ ká rí wọn. Even our state governors do not have a full document of Yoruba people that fought and died for the British Empire in their state. No strong database. Remembrance Day can be called Poppy Day. It's a memorial day observed in the Commonwealth. So they expect Nigeria to also have Remembrance Day because Nigeria was part of the country that fought for the Civil War, the World War I. The Commonwealth of Nations often simply refer to as Commonwealth is an international association of 56 member states, that Nigeria is one of them. The vast majority of which are former territories of the British Empire, from which it developed the chief institution of the organization. I'm sure some of you get a year. Nigeria is part of Commonwealth. And then so what? What is the benefit? What is the advantage for it? Few people probably enjoy it when they rub shoulders together. But the average Yoruba man, what does Commonwealth mean to you? You where you be Yoruba man? It's nothing. Maybe to the Nigerian government official, it means a lot to them because they must continue to listen to the puppet from the West. Commonwealth member states, since the end of the First World War, the First World War, The First World War, also known as WW1 or WWI, also known as the First World War or the Greater War in the historical context, was a major global conflict fought between two coalitions, the Allied power and the Central Powers. Fighting took place throughout Europe, the Middle East, and Africa and Pacific, and part of the Asia. Ṣẹ̀rí tó bá yẹ pé wọ́n ṣí documentary video fún wa in tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní àwọn ogun yìí pẹ̀lú àwọn tiwa tó lò, some of us will be crying every day. We will feel the grief and the pain. But what they've done is, psychologically, some of those things have been destroyed or kept somewhere that they don't want us to see. The British system has a lot of history of what transpired between the people that were used from Nigeria and other African countries in some of this war. And some of them, they've burned them out. Because I'm presented for you. And you can see why people like Baba Olowo fought and Nnamdi Azikiwe and the rest of them during that period, because they knew that we were used as part of this war. Don't pè ní ogun àkọ́kọ́. Ogun kẹta ló ń súnmọ́ wa báyìí. Can smell káàkiri gbogbo Middle East. Kọ́lọ́n kó fi peace ayé. So, since the end of the First World War, to honor armed forces members who died in the line of duty, some of them were indigenous people called from Nigeria. Because Nigeria was already a country as of 1914. We're talking about something that happened in 1918. Oh, yeah. The day is also marked by a war remembrances in several other non-Commonwealth countries. In most countries, Remembrance Day is observed on the 11th of November to recall the end of First World War hostility. Ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ ogun la máa mọ̀ o, àdẹ́mọ̀ parí ogun, wọ́n máa mọ̀ ní ilé tí mò ń dárúkọ nísìnyí. Wọ́n máa fún wa ní déètì ìgbà tó ogun yẹn parí. You want freedom? We must be preparing our mind to educate so that there will be less wahala. If not, I don't know what can happen. We are just praying. Somebody said, my late father partook in the Second World War. He resigned in 1944. It's a very painful time. I don't have a full history of it, but to be honest with you, the British has archive. And the one that they think that if they let us see it, it will have a big psychological problem on us. They will not let us see it. That is if they've not even burned them down. Catalogs of files and documents. You know, British had a good record. They kept everything they were doing during the empire time. Gbogbo tó ń ṣe nígbà yẹn, pátá, gbogbo tí British ṣe lọ document. They're good at that. They have a strong archive. Okay, $. Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome once again. They will never want us to question them on that. And there's no problem, even if we don't question them. But what we are saying now is, we just want to be free. Free away from all these atrocity against humanity. Let's continue. Happy Sunday. My name is Olami Koiki, one of the Yoruba Nation campaigner for the right to self-determination of the indigenous people. We don't hate Hausa people. We don't hate the Igbo people. We don't hate any ethnic group. We just don't want to be in the same bracket called Nigeria anymore. We want to have our own independent country. It's just 4 minutes to 4 p.m. This program probably lasts another maximum 1 hour or so. It's the third program of the day. We've done one already that I talked about the rapist. I've done one outside with the Remembrance Day, and this is our Sunday broadcast. Remembrance Day is observed on the 11th November to recall the end of the First World War hostilities. Hostilities ended at the 11th hour of the 11th day of 11th month of 1918 in accordance with the armistice. The armistice of 11th November 1918 was the armistice signed at the Lee Frankfurt near Copenhagen that ended fighting on land, sea, and air in World War I between the Entente and their last remaining opponent, German. Previously, armistice had been agreed with Bulgaria and the Ottoman Empire. Àwa náà ní empire níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn tá à ń pè ní Ọ̀yọ́ Empire. I talked about Kemal Mustafa Atatürk. Ogun gbà yẹn, ogun burúkú ni. Ẹ rántí pé program tá a ṣe ní alẹ́ àná talked about how Kemal Atatürk was able to quickly reform what is now known as Turkey today, Turkey, through making sure that it's still a secular, industrialized, so that wàhálà tó ń ṣe nígbà yẹn òun lèmi àti ẹ la ṣe ń jàǹfààní ẹ̀ fáwọn àti àláǹfààní àti dé that part of the world kọ́lọ́n jẹ́ kí wọn náà lè débẹ̀. That is the importance of what took place. So there was a lot of fight going on between Bulgaria Bulgaria is still a very good place. Sofia. My mom has been there before. Bulgaria. But from what I'm told, their technology is top notch. Bulgaria. All the time we say, support Koiki Media, but it is a voluntary donation. Let's move further. These were signed by representatives of German and the entity between 5:12 and 5:20 that morning. At the 11th hour, referred to the passing of the 11th hour or 11 a.m., the First World War formally ended with the signing of Treaty of Versailles. Treaty of Versailles. The Treaty of Versailles was a peace treaty signed on the 28th of June, 1919. As the most important treaty of the World War I, it ended the state of war between Germany and most of the Allied powers. It was signed in the Palace of Versailles exactly 5 years after the assassination of Atatürk. On the 28th of June, 1919, the tradition of the Remembrance Day evolved out of Armistice Day. The initial Armistice Day was observed at the Buckingham Palace, commencing with King George hosting a banquet in honor of the President of the French Republic. During the evening hours of the 10th of 11 November 1919, the first official Armistice Day was subsequently held on the grounds of Buckingham Palace the following morning. During the Second World War, many countries changed their name of the holiday. Member states of the Commonwealth of Nations adopted Remembrance Day, while the US chose Veterans Day. And that is why US is always different. God's own country. And you can see there with the American flag. The day we should all be waiting for is the day that the Yoruba people will push that Yoruba flag and it will stand and the Nigerian one officially comes down while the Yoruba one goes up. That will be the end and the era of Nigeria. It will happen in my lifetime. How soon is what we don't know. God spare and give every one of us long lives. We pray for more long life. They are already old. We pray that they even exist to 120 years old. That's if their children don't poison them. Let them continue to live in denial. It's just a matter of time. Tinubu, like I said, spent 4 years preparing himself for what he's enjoying today. We are also preparing to exit that same shithole. As at that time, Tinubu will be old man. I will still be young, at least in age, compared to him. But at the same Yoruba corrupt leaders, because we will not tolerate the same nonsense that their fathers have committed against humanity. We will stop it. We will stop it. So, thinking that they are so powerful, they will die anyway. I don't pray for them to die now, but they will die because some of them are very old. They are old men and old women. But Nigeria. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. So you think that we will sit here and Seyi Tinubu will then come and control me? It's either Seyi Tinubu come back home with his father, as at the time that he's not giving us Yoruba nation. For those of you that are saying, I get all those calls all the time. I got one earlier before I started the program. Yoruba people will live in denial, as if Tinubu is a saint that will pull us out. But we will continue our quest. We will take it back. We will take that territory that the British amalgamated in 1914. We will take it back. But with diplomacy, with negotiation, with a lot of diplomacy. And if all that failed, we should go and prepare for the worst case scenario. If they've allowed peace to reign, there should not have been World War I. If they've allowed peace to reign, there should not have been World War II. World War III. Some of you don't even know what is happening in the Middle East. It could lead to the next World War III. And the world is not ending, okay? Don't come and tell me Jesus is coming back. I'm not interested in all that. No, Jesus is coming back as far as I'm concerned. That is for you, for those that believe in that. I believe in tradition. I believe in whatever I believe in. So what we are saying is that it's just a matter of time. The First World War formally ended, like I said earlier. And the tradition of Remembrance Day, it is what is why we are still doing Remembrance Day today. Latin 19. They can't. You don't forget history. How can you say we should forget the history of the Yoruba people because we are now in Nigeria? Are you crazy? How? Tell me. So we should leave the priority of who we are before Nigeria because we want to save Nigeria. So Kafi Inti Amo Tofi sọ fún wa pé àwọn bàbá ńlá wa báyìí ló ṣe ń ṣe ká wá abandon gbogbo yẹn because we want to appreciate Nigeria. Nigeria that Oyinbo people created for us. Kò tẹ́ ń ṣe bàbá wa ló create Nigeria. I mean, if we have been told that bàbá wa kan ló jókòó ló kàn create Nigeria, ẹ mọ̀ pátá sì lè máa dàbí ọgbọ́n pé ìbí bàbá wa náà ló create Nigeria. Oyinbo mà ló create Nigeria. And don't come and tell me, I've told you, it's not in the spiritual realm. Oyinbo ló wá create Nigeria. Ẹ mọ̀ tó bá jẹ́ pé èèyàn dúdú gan tẹ̀ ló create nísìn, àtúlẹ̀ máa sọ pé òkè èèyàn dúdú ló create. Òyìnbó ló wá create Nigeria. And we are told lies upon lies upon lies upon lies. And we are doing a relationship with Nigeria. Why not do relationship with Yoruba people and Biafra people and Arewa people? And even the rest of the people, even if Edo wants to stay on their own, they don't want to come with anybody. Even if the other smaller ones. I said Gilberta, Gbogbo population na 32,000. They have their own currency, they have their own passport, they have their own economy. 32,000 is a country. Gilberta, part of the British territory. They are better off than me and you, that we are looking like Oriresi. A 32,000 population. If you pay the bigger we are, the better, is the better. No. Let's slow it down and let's ask for Yoruba nation. According to the official, the armistice day was subsequently held on the grounds of the Buckingham Palace. The following morning, during the Second World War, many countries changed the name. America decided to choose Veterans Day. Observance in the Commonwealth. The common British, Canadian, South African, and the ANZAC tradition. The ANZ is a National Day of Remembrance in Australia and New Zealand that broadly commemorate all Australians and New Zealanders who served and died in all the world conflict peacekeeping operation. How many Yoruba people died in that war? Do we have numbers? Do we have statistics? Do we have records? Where is all the records? Who's keeping it? As the marks the time in the United Kingdom when the armistice became effective. The service of remembrance in many Commonwealth countries generally include the sounding of the last post, followed by the period of silence, followed by the sounding of the rail, or sometimes just the rose. The service of remembrance is finished by recitation of the Ode of Remembrance. The flowers services also include the wreath laid to honor the fallen blessing under the national anthem. God bless the Queen. I saw them reciting it today. And I'm sure some of you watched it from Koiki Media, the international media, not the local one. The international confirmed media for Yoruba Nation campaign. The one we get press card for London. So if you call me and I think it's what, I will go there. If you cannot get there, call me, I will go there. That is why I have a press card. It takes me everywhere. It's a privilege because I am in a country that respects rule of law. If I have the same press card in Nigeria, they could just even shoot you and kill you like they killed that young journalist that was working for Gbo TV called Pelumi and dumped the body, at a Ikorodu General Hospital while the family were looking for the body somewhere in the mainland. I shot the body, you see Ikorodu. Bastard military, they kill somebody, they move the body, they go and dump it there. Just like, we don't know where they kept Adogon and Alhaji Fatai till date. May God bless their soul. The central ritual is now that cenotape. I'm sure you've seen that place. I've been there a few times, just adjacent number 10 Downing Street. And like I said, we're just almost there. So, as we say all the time on this platform, this is a Yoruba Nation media, a campaigner for the right to self-determination, a believer of the right of every indigenous people. And we will continue to remind us of such. As we say all the time, let us make sure that get tired. It is a lot of work, a lot of planning. But like I said all the time, we are all having a role to play. As I play my role, you play yours. One day, we will get there. It's just that nobody knows exactly when, but we will get there. Nigeria is not going to survive another 60 years. It will break. How, when, who, that is the work that we are doing today. Láti máa ṣèrántí fáwọn ọmọ Nigerians pé ìlú yẹn is going to come out of the map before Boko Haram take it out. 11 minutes past. Let me now take it back again to, we come out of the Remembrance Day and we touch on where we were yesterday, which involves Yoruba nation chooses the noble path to its noble goal. A manual of the Yoruba self-determination struggle for all Yoruba self-determination advocates at home and in the diaspora by Professor Adebanji Akitoye. And we're going to touch on that again this afternoon. And I'm just reading from the introduction now, and I'm going to be jumping, so I'm not going in accordance. You can get the download version, a PDF, by going on www.koikimedia.com, and you would have the opportunity to have a copy, and you can go through it. Yeah, you know, they go through it. Very importantly, it is based on the fundamental character of the Yoruba nation as a civilization-building nation, a nation with goodwill and hospitality towards all other nationalities. I think by Yoruba nation does not mean we have to be hostile to people that we have lived together for 60-something years and those that will probably want to come and live with us. Just like I am living in UK in the last 25 years. Not all the British people are okay with it. While some, they have no choice. It is also based on the humble and sincere obedience of all persons working for Yoruba self-determination to the manifest demand of the Yoruba nation. We have to be honest. I want to finish politics. Let them go and be doing politics. Don't get yourself hyped up with them. It's just a matter of time. Yoruba nation, like I said, to the manifest demand of the whole Yoruba nation, the demand that the struggle for Yoruba self-determination must be peaceful. Because movement has been non-peaceful. It has been very, very peaceful in the last 3 years. That is how Baba Akitoye wants it. Does not mean that there's no other option on the table, which is the violence and all that. But why should we be pushing violence when we can push the peace? But think that the peace about it, then it will become violent. World War I, World War II is because they refuse to allow peace to happen. They refuse to allow peace to reign. And if you don't allow peace to reign, that means mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin bàbá wa tẹ́ máa ń pè wá lọ́tùn lósì fún oríṣiríṣi àmọ̀ràn àti ọ̀rọ̀. As I was completing the program last night, another call came through from I wanted to program we did before. Sometimes they can't catch up because I run program continuously, non-stop. And the reason why we are not running a lot tó jẹ́ pé mi nìkan lè rí all the time, that is going to start changing in a while because we're trying to make sure that Koiki Media team can also be coming out, you know, and we can then say, Boya, every Wednesday, you know, for 1 hour, I discuss in Tobafe discuss, I did law. Another one will come out. We're working on that to see how we can manage such as well. But, you know, they need to be, Sometimes people write stupid comments, so and then I don't need to respond to that because not everybody has brain. So I can see all your comments, and if I just want to ignore it, I just ignore it because Shemon Kimbaloye does not respond to your guys' comment anyway. You just all go on politics today, but you'll be fighting each other in the comment section. So when we read your comment and sometimes want to respond to it, it's just because we know that you are not a ghost. But sometimes people ask stupid questions because they cannot think. Sometimes some of them are born bastards. So I read all the comments. I have multiple screens in front of me, and I have 65-inch screen to my left-hand side. I can see there's a screen in front of me, so I can see every comment that comes through. Born bastards. Let's continue. It is also based, so the Yoruba nation that we are fighting for, it is a non-violent movement. Sorry about that, I lost track there. Very important, it's based on fundamental character of the Yoruba nation as a civilization, blah, blah, blah. It is also based on sincere obedience of all persons. That noise is too much, man. Noise. It is also based on humble, sincere obedience of all persons working for you. Let me just pick it. This manual is also intended to provide to the wide world the basic details of the Yoruba nation's. Shari, I think I'm going to emphasize on this. Let me highlight it so that I don't lose the track of where I'm reading. Okay, cool. I lied because PDF. All right. This is very, very important. This key section is very, very important. It's very, very important. This manual is also intended to provide to the wide world the basic details to assert its self-determination and sovereignty separate from Nigeria. Many of you don't know it. I think we tend to push that Fulani, and that is not because of Fulani. So it is important that while nothing seems to be happening right now, especially in the new WhatsApp group, there are any different group, there has to be this continual education of the reasons. But there about the manuscript, how do you want to push such narratives? So purpose manual is intended to provide the basic details of the Yoruba nation's reason for now seeking, because seek for tele, in turn seek for tele ni pe kore structure Nigeria ko da pada sí regional nǹkan. But our seek for nisin, kill and seek for, we are seeking to accept self-determination. And self-determination la fe. Our fair restructure kokomo. Because oti late, oti failure. So what we want now is self-determination, quest for self-determination. We're not interested in the restructure. So, and also the sovereignty separate from Nigeria. Namely, the Yoruba people devastating experience in Nigeria. We've had devastating experience. Experience, they be pay. Sometimes, you ask yourself, how did we get to this kind of situation? These programs end in 26 minutes. Once again, the Yoruba people, devastating experience in Nigeria, the progressive and now almost totally destruction of democracy in Nigeria. You go and look at my TikTok. Violent, vote buying, appetite in a governorship election. And it's not just in those states, it happens across and even during the last general election. Destruction of democracy, the primitive and the blood-curdling agenda of ethnic cleansing and genocide. Those two words are very, very powerful. Genocide is taking place in Yoruba land. It's a very, very powerful word. The primitive, blood curdling. This, we have the blood suckers, and Fulani terrorists. That what they are doing right now is, they've become the monster leeching on us. What it be mosquito, and mosquito by the walare, that is the Fulani terrorist. And even the economy, they've destroyed it. Business in Yoruba has been destroyed. Blood-curdling agenda of ethnic cleansing and genocide in Nigeria. The constant human brutalization, pain, and death, and the regime of crime against humanity in Nigeria. I'm asking again, is there any freedom in Nigeria? Is there freedom more for you? Is there freedom here? Is there real law? I think we one check real law. Brutalization, pains, and death, regime of crimes against humanity in Nigeria. They all together pulling out of Nigeria relentlessly down into utter barbarism. A land of unimaginable, almost subhuman viciousness of man against man, a land in which humans and violently take all substance, all hope, and all life from another human with casual abandon hour by hour. Ìtàn ṣàlàyé nínú òyìnbó tó pọ̀ ní pé àwọn ọmọ ènìyàn níbi tá à ń pè ní Nàìjíríà lénìí wọ́n wá ń lo ìtàjẹ̀sílẹ̀ violent. Àwọn kan ní we are violent people. Tẹ́ bá mọ̀ tán pè ní violent ni kọ́lọ̀ ń jẹ́ pàdé Fúlàní terrorist. Kọ́lọ̀ ń jẹ́ kí economy Nàìjíríà kó wọnú bank account ẹ̀ wàá rí violent. Because many people that have millions of naira ní as at 6 months ago, owó yẹn ti di half because of the violent Nigeria economy sínú àkáǹtì yìí. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń ra bucket of sugar ní 2005, ó ti wá lọ sí 6,500. That is violent. So kò ń ṣe violent inú igbó nìkan là ń sọ nísìn. Even the violence of economy, inflation, education, welfare, healthcare, ó ti wọlé sí gbogbo wa lára báyìí. But because people are not concerned, or maybe they are concerned and they are waiting for a miracle. We love miracle. It may not like miracle. But in reality, what we need to be talking about now is not just miracle. We should be talking about everything to save ourselves from the contraction called Nigeria. Nigeria is a contraction. Once again, Muki Enyiyawa. Mbolakade. A land in which human blood is spilled. Ṣé mo parọ́ mọ́ Nàìjíríà? Ṣé kò sí ìtàjẹ̀sílẹ̀ ní Nàìjíríà? Èèyàn mélòó lẹ rò pé ó kú ní last week for the negligence of a country tó yẹ kó ṣiṣẹ́. Ìjọba tó sì. Nàìjíríà tó yẹ pé ẹ̀jẹ̀ ń tà lọ rẹpẹtẹ for so many reasons. Okay, èyí ti wà ní 5:30 nísìn. Dóò torí pọ́dọ̀ tiwa ilẹ̀ tí ń ṣú báyìí. Tó bá máa fi di 7 nísìn kò sí street light. Gbogbo ẹ̀ ó pitch dark. So ẹni tó ń drive kò mọ̀ bóyá kòtò wà níwájú òun á kọ̀ gbẹ́sẹ̀ lé ní gbágá tó bá gbé mọ́tò débẹ̀ báyìí ó kú nìyẹn. Ìlú tí wọ́n spill ẹ̀jẹ̀ ń tà. I mean, people die abroad. Wèrè wà l'Amẹ́ríkà lẹ́gbẹ́ tó bá fàbọn yọ máa pààyàn. But èyí tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Nàìjíríà is a deliberate act tí kò jẹ́ kó ṣẹlẹ̀ rárá. A land in which human blood, ẹ̀jẹ̀ àwọn ọmọ ènìyàn, is spilled, ó ta sí gbogbo everywhere, into a swelling stream of human blood. Tẹ́jẹ̀ bá dẹ̀ ti pọ̀, ó máa di àgbàrá tá a máa dà lọ. But everybody is waiting and saying that maybe something is going to change. And don't change any team, but we are all waiting. Having evolved and lived a life of civilized culture for thousands of years, or so hundreds of years, àti wà cultured, àti evolve, and we have lived a life of ẹlòmíràn tẹ̀wọ̀n pọ̀ àti gbé ní civilized world rí. It's because wọ́n jẹ́ ká mọ̀ ni. Àti gbé ní civilized world rí lórí ilẹ̀ wa náà ni mò ń sọ o. Kò kàn ṣe èmi àti ẹ̀ la gbé nígbà yẹn ni, àwọn bàbá ńlá wa ló gbé níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn tí wọ́n ń build ẹ lọ sí Ìjẹ̀bú War. Ìjẹ̀bú War is far better than the China War, but showcase nítorí pé a wà lábẹ́ ìlú tí ẹ̀jẹ̀ ti ta sílẹ̀. Ẹ lọ sí Ìjẹ̀bú War. It is far greater than wọ́n ti lè understand báwo ni ọpọlọ tó fi kọ́ Ìjẹ̀bú War yẹn. Mélòó bẹ́ẹ̀. Bọ̀ ṣé ibi tẹ́mi àtẹ tá à ń wá gàrí àtẹ̀pà tá a fi mu tá à ń struggle tá à ń wá bá ṣe fi sanwó lé inú ilé face my face tó ń gbé tó ń tọ́jú ọmọ nínú bẹ̀. Family mẹ́fà ẹ̀ ń gbé nínú yàrá kan inú ẹ̀ náà lẹ̀ yàgbẹ́ sí àwa ṣì ń gbé bẹ́ẹ̀ tí àwa gbé ní ìgbé civilized yẹn mọ́ àwa ń gbé ní ìgbé ìgbà tí àwọn òyìnbó lórí burúkú ti dé tó ti kó bá wa. Ẹ ṣì ń gbé nínú ilé face me and face you, ìwọ yàgbẹ́ tán kémi náà wọlé kí n yàgbẹ́. Láì ṣe pé o gbé ní I don't understand. Mo ń báyàn kan sọ̀rọ̀ láàárọ̀ ẹ̀ mo ní bíyàn kan bá ń dá ẹni tó ń gbé ní face my face tó bá dáná gan tó bá careful àti pot àti gbogbo ẹ̀ lọ́ máa gbé wọnú ilé níbi tẹ́bi ti dé nísìnyí. But a ti gbé ní civilized world rí ní that same territory tá à ń pè nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Thousands of years. Gbogbo tó ń pè Nàìjíríà ṣe mọ̀ pé kò tí pé 200 years. So why do we want kí ló dé tá a ṣe fẹ́ stop ẹ̀ nísìn tá a tún fẹ́ máa push ẹ̀ lọ àwọn politicians àwọn dínà má láàyè gbogbo ariwo tó ń kéèyàn nísìn á kékékékékéké á lọ kọ́ọ̀tì lọ́ọ̀yà gbowó á accept fate ẹ̀ kò ní ìpowó tó ná ó ti ná tán ó ti ṣe àwọn yẹn ti gbọ́n nísìn àwọn náà ti ṣe investment káàkiri so owó àwọn rè ẹ fi pè dínà owó Nàìjíríà owó tó ń operate fún láti inú Nàìjíríà lọ náà no foreign exchange ló ná nísìn because àwọn ti invest síta wọ́n ti gbé owó lọ àwọn ní àwọn good financial adviser wọ́n ti gbé owó lọ síta wọ́n ti lọ invest so currency tó ń gbà padà nísìn dollar àti pounds àbí euro ni owó tó ń make so òun náà wà lára àwọn tó ń gbádùn nísìn because for every £1 lẹ́ni nísìn ó dà pé 1,200 ní mọ̀ èlò lè wó láàárọ̀ yìí or probably maybe 1,300 ìyẹn ń jójó yóyò ni tó bá lọ sókè á wá sísàlẹ̀ ẹ rántí Kollington ìjó yóyò Nigeria money ó ń jójó yóyò báyìí nísìnyí kò tó àzọ tó mọ́ báyìí ìjó yóyò ló ń jó tó bá lọ báyìí so lọ́kàn yín Tinubu Jagaba máa gbé wálẹ̀ no problem àwa náà wò náà ni kọ́lọ́n fún ṣe 15 minutes to the end of the program. You pray pé kí Nigeria could survive. It will have big impact on your life. O lè gbọ́rú program báyìí lórí àwọn NTA. Iṣẹ́ táwọn NTA ń ṣe ni pé àwọn láti project pé Nigeria máa dá. Lápò wọn mọ̀ pé Nigeria ò gbádùn mọ́. Bọ̀wọ̀ bí wọ́n dá kọ́ sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ níta. because they are being paid for what they are doing. Especially they are working for the federal government. So expect pé àwọn tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú Tinubu tí wọ́n mọ̀ pé Nàìjíríà ò ní gbádùn because wọ́n ti rí ní tí Buhari ṣe kó tó di pé Tinubu wá dé. So as we are winding down again, I say, having evolved and lived a life of civilized culture for thousands of years, a culture of tender respect for life. Respect for life. Ní respect fún ẹ̀mí mọ́ ní Nàìjíríà nísìn. Respect for life, for property, for differences in human conditions, circumstances, and choice, and for the foreign peoples of different cultures and tongues. The Yoruba nation now seeks to take its life into its hands as a civilized building nation in the world and to save its people from further exposure to Nigeria culture of brutality, destructiveness, perpetual violence upon religious freedom, reckless bloodletting, and the push towards utter barbarism. Ìyẹn là ń jà fún táwọn ọmọ Yorùbá tún bú wa. Intan sọ pé ká gba ọ̀rá wa kúrò, ká wọnú civilization, ká build the nation tí gbogbo àgbáyé náà máa bá wa jẹ. In tí wọ́n bú mi fún nìyẹn àwọn máa lè. In tán bú Ìgbòho fún nìyẹn, in tán bú Bàbá Akíntóyè fún nìyẹn, in tán bú Ìyára fún nìyẹn, in tán bú Yorùbá World Media, in tán bú Bàbá Èkìtì fún nìyẹn àti Mass B. In tán béèrè fún bí Akíntúbẹ̀ yẹn kà fún wa. In tán béèrè fún ni mo kà tán yẹn. So in tán béèrè fún yìí ṣé ó pọ̀ jù ní àbí báwo? Ó ní take its life, ká gba ẹ̀mí wa, ká gba padà sọ́wọ́ wa. Torí ẹ̀mí wa báyìí nísìn ọwọ́ àwọn olóṣèlú ló wà. And I'll tell you why. Tí o bá ní àìsàn tó ń ṣe nísìn, ìwọ lọ sí Lagos State General Hospital kò ní mo ní kó tọ́jú ẹ̀ síbẹ̀ kí Sanwó-Olú fi dé àti London padà. Tí ìyàwó ẹ̀ bá fi bímọ nísìn, gbé lọ sí LUTH kò ní òlówó lọ́wọ́. Ó dẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ deliver ọmọ ẹ̀. Yeah, thank you. Oúnjẹ ló ń bi mí nísìn pé ṣé máa jẹ. Ṣé báwọn ọmọ tiẹ̀ náà ṣe ń bí ẹ́ nìyẹn pé dáàdì ṣe máa jẹun? Àbí àwọn ọmọ ẹ fẹ́ ebi ń pa wọ́n? Ọmọ ló ń bi mí pé dad ó ti na ọwọ́ sókè pé ṣé èmi náà mind òun fi ṣeré bẹ́ẹ̀. Ṣé bí wọ́n ṣe ń béèrè ṣé bí ìyàwó ẹ̀ ṣe ń bí ẹ́ nínú ilé nìyẹn àbí òtẹ̀ ẹ̀rú ọbẹ̀ fún ẹ̀ ń jà lójoojúmọ́ ni? Ṣé bó ṣe láti rí nìyẹn? Ṣé bí àwọn baba ńlá wa ṣe gbé nìyẹn? Táwọn baba ńlá wa tí wọ́n máa lọ sóko, táwọn ìyàwó wọn máa ti ṣe ọbẹ̀ ẹ̀fọ́ tó ti máa gbé ẹyán rẹpẹtẹ, tó ti máa gbé àkùmù tó máa lò tẹ́ pé tó bá jẹ ẹyán yẹn tán báyìí a tún digest torí pé wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ dìde láàárọ̀ láti lọ sóko. Oko ọ̀hún mà láàlè lọ́mọ báyìí nísìn. Tá bá tẹ̀ sọ pé àfẹ́ kankan, ǹjẹ́ kí ló dé tà tún lè lọ sóko? Oko tó yẹ kó jẹ́ priority wa. Mo ń bi ọmọ Yorùbá lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Should we take our life into our hands? Ṣé ká gba ọwọ́ wa kúrò lọ́wọ́ àwọn mùjẹ̀mùjẹ̀, àwọn tó dì wá mú yìí? It's entirely up to you. Anyway, I gotta go now because that is how far we can take it. Thank you so much, everyone. My name is Olami Koiki. This is Koiki Media, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Atumari ni ìjọ mi. Bye for now.